Well, hello everyone, and welcome back for another Monday Night Racing here at the Valiant Racing League. And well, what more can I say other than welcome back to the Principality, a venue which has hosted an F1 race every single year, apart from 2020. And I have a feeling we have genuinely missed it. Now, a lot of people say that Monaco is a bit of a boring race, but those people have not watched some amateur drivers trying and getting around it without breaking their front wing, should I say, or front wheels, either one. Now, I'm 99% sure that we've got some amazing racers in this league who are going to boss this track. We also just have a lot of them who won't. So this is going to be really interesting, and I have a feeling we could be challenging the the current standing of the least amount of runners to finish a Grand Prix race, which is held at Monaco, where 4 people finished both in 1996 and I think it was 1966. Yeah, 1966, where both races had 4 people finishing the race. Now, we've got 15 already currently on this grid. I have a feeling we're not going to get down to 4, but if we did, boy, would it be an incredible race. I know what we're saying. Usually on this channel, we are 100% here for the racing, for the amazing drama that you get when you have people battling out on track. Here, it is a race of attrition. It's a drive to survive, if you would. And boy, is it going to be good. Evening to everyone who is currently watching live. And we're going to get ready for a great one. It was 3 in 1996. My facts are wrong. I do apologise if it was. Thank you very much, Liam. But before we get into tonight's race, let's have a quick look back at what happened last week over in Canada. It was a really interesting weekend of racing. Weekend of wet racing? It was a really interesting weekend of racing this past weekend, but that's not what we're on about. No, back last week, Monday. Come on, Nat, get your act together. Right, FT won the race, and it was an amazing race from him. He pulled out all the stops and really ran away with it. You had Crazy Bill, who was a reserve in that race, as well as Sean, who is back again for this race, who came in 2nd and 3rd. And really, the standout performance had to go to Sean. I think I gave him my driver of the day just because of how well he did. Obviously, FT deserves all the plaudits for being able to win that race. It was impressive how he just ran away with it, kept it clean the entire time and did so well. And it was great for his championship bid, because it does mean he has gained a lot of points on Jonathan Cox, who just faltered a little bit last week, and it just sort of, he doesn't seem to enjoy Canada that much, even though I know he loves racing it really. I just think he doesn't seem to ever get much luck around the track, and it means that he's really, FT's really closed the gap. And of course, onto the sort of like constructors as well. It was a great day for McLaren. We know that they were fighting alongside Red Bull for a lot of this season so far. Obviously, this is round 9 of 15, so there's still 6 races to go after this. But they managed to pick up a lot of points with them finishing in 6th and 7th compared to, I think it was 10th and outside of the points for Red Bull. So on to the driver's standings then. You do have Jonathan Cox, who is still out in front on 146, but right close behind him after 3 amazingly great races from FT. He's now on 141 points, only 5 points behind. This is getting very interesting indeed. He is racing today as well, so we are going to see those two really battling it out with each other again. Who knows what's going to happen around here? Maybe neither of them finish. Who knows? You then have Extremist, who's managed to get up into 3rd with that 6th place last time out. He's on 78 points with Joshy Boy in the Red Bull. Only 6 points behind him on 72. You then have another battle, which is underneath that, of Callum Tyler and Optics. Optics has retired from from this league, as in from Monday Night Racing. He's obviously continuing in the other ones, you should see if you watch those, but he's not going to be in this anymore. So, but we do have Crazy Bill and other people filling in that Red Bull seat, so it means that Red Bull are still battling with McLaren in the championship. Of course, in the constructors, Mercedes are kind of running away from it, running away with it. With Jonathan Cox obviously out in the lead with 191 points at the moment. Alfa Romeo then on 135, being in second place. Very closely behind them, you have McLaren 122. They're trying to bridge that gap as much as possible. And Red Bull trying to keep up with 115, only scoring 2 points from the last race. So, on to tonight. Monaco, what can we expect? Well, in our league in general, the best lap that we've had is from Drofter around here, which is 110.017. So maybe we'll be seeing that in the qualifying, and especially and maybe even in the race, because the fastest lap in the race so far in real life was Max Verstappen back in 2019, which is a 1:14.260. And wow, it's going to be an interesting one, because we know how important qualifying is around this track. It's one of those ones that, you know, because of how tight and twisty it is, it's very difficult to overtake. Not impossible. I think for myself, I watch a lot of YouTube in terms of F1. One of the people I watch is Ben Daly, Tim McMurdoch, and he's an absolute beast at overtaking on this track. If you know it and you can get it well, you can really make overtakes, especially you can capitalise on the mistakes, because this is not a track that is very easy. Obviously we know that you can try and run into the barriers, but it's not even that. You don't get a moment's respite around this track. It's the shortest around on the entire calendar. It's also very quick at the same time with these new F1 cars. But as well as that, in the actual race, there's 78 laps, obviously. It's over 5,000 gear changes, that will be. These drivers do not get any chance to take a break and take a breather. There's no long straights for you to just go, oh gosh, okay, I can breathe now. Even the straight in this is slightly curved, so you can't just sort of like relax any at all. And that just means that any time, like, you could make mistakes throughout the entire race. There will be mistakes on the last lap, especially, and it's things like that that can just make or break a race, especially around Monaco. Obviously, as we said, it's not really changed its layout since 1929, when its first sort of race was held there, and obviously that's gone through then the F1 Championship all the way from 1950 all the way to 1955. You know, to 1955 was another change. Then the most recent big change was 2004, where we had the permanent pit complex being built. Anyone who sort of remembers Monaco from before that will know that it's not been simple. I'm just going to double check chats and stuff. Right, I'm just double checking because I think a lot of stuff is kicking off. Yeah, because we've gone down to next to no runners. What in the world is happening? Do apologise, guys, because we seem to have no runners. I don't know what's happening. If anyone's in the chat, as in who's watching, could let me know exactly what's happening. But we'll get on with just talking about Monaco, shall we? I think everyone's starting to rejoin. This is really quite strange. Yeah, so it's obviously the shortest track, as we said. But it's still been the favourite for a lot of high-class drivers. It's one of those tracks that really brings out the class of a driver, and of course it forces a driver, because of how on it they have to be. It means that if they are consistent, like Hamilton or Ricciardo sort of thing, they're able to keep it in control and sort of like steer a race from the very beginning. Ayrton Senna holds the record for the most amount of wins around Monaco with 6, but that includes, and I think this is honestly the best bit, Right, okay, we're getting a new lobby. That's what makes sense. Okay. Right, here we go. Bear with me, guys. Here we go. We're going to join. So, yeah, SSL has got a 6, but a run of 5 consecutive between 89 and 93. You've got Graham Hill, who's known as Mr. Monaco, of course, father of Damon Hill. He took 5 victories around Monaco. You then have Schumacher, who also got 5. But that's kind of it. You know, it's not one of those tracks that Hamilton's dominated sort of thing, as we've seen in a lot of the other tracks around the current F1 calendar. Jim Clark, for example, but this is where it gets quite interesting, should I say, is that we all say that Monaco is where qualifying matters the most. Just like Hungary, just like any other street circuit, but Monaco is the pinnacle, right? Jim Clark took pole at Monaco 4 times and never won. Either it was bad luck and reliability, which of course in that era was quite common, but at the same time, I think at that point, and I think this is where the difference in whether it's not been changed or anything like that up until this point comes into play, because obviously back then Formula 1 cars were a lot smaller. They are huge now, and it's quite easy to underestimate how big an F1 car is. Think about how wide a Lamborghini is. That's an F1 car. Like, it's that big. You just think it's small because it's a single-seater. And so getting around a track like Monaco is, of course, very difficult. Anyway, I'm just looking at my notes and seeing what we've got, because we've got a fair bit of time to kill, I think. There's a great stat. So between 1984 and 1993, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna were the only drivers to win at Monaco. 10 years. 10 years. And Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. I don't think we're going to see a domination like that at any point. Of course, you've got the stats like the Lowe's hairpin is the slowest corner on the F1 calendar with just 48 kilometers an hour. It feels like you are walking around that corner. I hate it. The patience you need to be able to get around Monaco in general is difficult, because you've got to make sure you're not turning in too early, not turning in too late. You have to be perfect in order not to sacrifice time in having to brake earlier or brake later, or get off the power early, or make sure that you're not going onto the power too early. And of course, this is a track where, you know, rain is possible, and a rainy Monaco is terrifying. It genuinely is, because of course we all know how important downforce is on Monaco because of how twisty and turny it is, and so if you then have rain into it, you've got no grip and needing all the downforce possible. It's just chaos. Another couple of different facts for you. So obviously McLaren have led the most laps around Monaco, more than any other team, completing 916 laps in the lead in Monaco Grand Prix. That's impressive. With Michael Schumacher though being the driver who's led the most laps around Monaco at 435. And I think that just kind of shows how dominant Schumacher was. I think we all kind of say that, oh, Hamilton's running away with things and stuff, but actually it's exactly the same as it was in the Schumacher era, which everyone lauds as being the best time in F1. So in terms of the aero setup, so as we go into the qualifying, we'll go into aero setup, and then we'll talk about the strategies we're going to see playing out. The best way I could put as aero setup, and I literally said this in my notes, is downforce good. Chuck it all on. I most likely go into Monaco with 10-11 wings, because if you can get around the corners fast, you can make up for the time lost on that one straight. Now, yes, you may be a sitting duck if someone's got a different strategy, aero strategy behind you, because on that straight, you're most likely going to lose a place. But you'll gain that place back throughout the rest of the lap, and you're more than likely going to be able to get out of DRS zone in that lap afterwards as well, because the corners are what's most important. But let's talk about tyre strategies, shall we? So if you qualify onto the soft compound tyres, you're going to be wanting to go onto the medium afterwards, and that's what the strategy will be. But as we know, this is where the overcut, should say, works brilliantly. Because if you get stuck in traffic around Monaco, there's no way through it. You want to be leaving it as late as possible to pit, either giving yourself enough gap or making sure that you're basically waiting for everyone else to pit first and then pitting into them. Because what it does is it means that you can then have clear air the entire time, not be backed up by back markers, anything like that. And it means then you have the best strategy of qualifying onto a medium and then go to a soft. So it will be really interesting to see who goes onto the medium tyres for their first lap. As we see Siam is out. We will go broadcast mode for this, because this is one of the very few circuits where broadcast mode does work. As we see Siam is going down now through Fairmont, as we go now. Liam's going through the tunnel, beautiful part of the track. And anyone who watched the historic Monaco Grand Prix, if you watch the onboard of John Lacey in Niki Lauda's Ferrari, you can see the exact blinding moment as he exits that tunnel. It really is mesmerising. We're going to go on board with Liam though, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows a lap of Monaco with their eyes closed. It goes very wide to Raskas, yeah, has to go into the bits there, and that's exactly it. If you misjudge a corner, that there's no safety. Renault out, it's Mazepin. Amazing name, I'm so proud of you. Right, so Mazepin is going to go for his for the first timed lap of this. Oh, you've got to watch people there coming out of the pits. Right, so Mazepin's coming out now. Going through the very long and twisty first sector. Going up towards the casino. This is one of those parts of the track where if you get underpowered too late, you can be losing tenths quite easily. Breaks very deep into that corner. But let's see how he takes the Lowe's hairpin. Very wide indeed. Having to go down to the 30 miles per hour there. And he goes back then towards the tunnel. On the power, nice and early there. Let's see what this middle sector ends up being as we go towards the swimming pool section. Takes that very slowly indeed. I think it's probably the best way to do it. Of course, traffic here is going to be very important in terms of qualifying, because it's not easy, just as we know in the race, trying to overtake, it's not easy to get out of the way of people as well in this race. So as you go towards Raskas now, he doesn't go as deep as we saw Liam go in a little bit earlier. So now, let's see, Mazepin going across the line. What's this going to be? This is a 1:11.1. It's not a bad time to begin with. Let's go on board with who's going to come across the line next. He's validated his time. So Cody comes back with a 1:12. Siam started his lap. Joshy Boy, I think. No, it's going to be another. Joshy Boy is a yellow flag in the middle sector. I think that's probably just the Alfa Romeo getting out of the way. So Joshy Boy now coming across the final corner. Let's see how he does going across the line. It's a 1:11.3. Still not the best. We see Siam then goes into third. He's at a decent time with that medium compound tyre. Walker goes fastest with a 1:10.07. Not quite as fast as Droffer at this point, but very close indeed in a very early setting. That's a bit of a weird line state there, Josh, but let's carry on. Let's go see if Extremist is doing any better in this middle sector. It always feels like you're going too slow through there, and actually, I don't think you are. You've got to be so careful, because it's so easy to run into a barrier, but you want to get as close as possible. It's the best way of maximising the route you've got. So let's see, as Extremist now goes into Raskas, he almost clips the corner there of Raskas, but he doesn't. Extremist then managed to just on the outside of his left side. I thought he might have clicked it there. He goes for a 1:12.5. Not a brilliant time, but a good banker lap anyway. So, Jonathan Cox, let's ride on board with him for his fastest lap. Let's see how he does. He's starting on the soft compound tyres, as you see. Let's see, Joshy Boy's just got in. Just thinking someone else. I couldn't quite see who. Right. We'll go on board with Jonathan Cox, who set the fastest first sector of an 18-second. So, he takes this corner a lot better than we saw Mazepin do earlier. So, we go into the tunnel now. We've got like a very neat and tidy lap currently from Jonathan Cox. Getting onto the power very nicely in all the sectors. Let's see if Extremist is going to get out of the way for him. He does look like he's setting a decent time at the moment, but Extremist may get in the way. It's another purple sector for Jonathan Cox. So let's see as he almost hits the wall there. Let's hope Extremist doesn't get in the way of him. For Raskas, he does get out of the way. That's very nice of him. So Jonathan Cox goes very deep into the final corner though, or loses it on the outside, but it's still a respectable time and still pole at the moment of a 1:10.04. I think he lost probably about a tenth and a half with that little bit at the end there. Let's see, Crazy Bill's going purple in the first sector. I think he could probably be in the 1:09s if it wasn't for that. It was a brilliant lap for him. That last corner and just the exit of it as well just seemed to just throw him off a little bit. So, Crazy Bill now going through the middle sector. Let's see as he goes through the chicane and then now into the swimming pool section. Let's see. Gone purple again in the middle sector. Let's see, this is going to be a very, very good lap indeed. Crazy Bill now going through Raskas. Doesn't go as deep as we've seen other people go, but he does still maximise the exit. He doesn't get a... Oh, he does get a tank slapper on. He can't save it, unlike Jonathan Cox. And that has really ruined his final sector with the medium tyres. It's still a very respectable time on the medium tyres, just like Tank has set with a 1:10.4. But you just feel like he could be going a lot faster. So I Am Sloth now, who was leading the race and actually in second place for a good while in the last race until it just went out of his hands. Let's see now as he's going through the middle sector. Starts going around the Lowe's hairpin, goes towards the... Oh, he's unvalidated his lap there, so now Liam has finished his lap. Let's see what that does. So third place below with 1:10.2. This is getting quite feisty up the top. Let's see who's not set their time. VRL Smithy, I think he's on his fastest. Is FT on his? No, he's broken track limits just the same as I Am Sloth has as well. I think VRL Smithy is going quite slowly indeed around here. Yes, he is indeed. It's only been on 50 seconds already. He's not even halfway through the lap. So he's obviously not setting a good time run. There we go. He's broken track limits. Let's see if anyone else is currently on decent time. Mazepin, I think he's on a better lap. He doesn't get the tank slap that the others have, but let's see what time this is going to be. He's better than 1:11.6. It's a 1:10.6 now from Mazepin. He does get up a couple of places, but he's still got a fair way to go to be able to get into that top three. So let's see, is Walker setting a fast lap? No, he's breaking track limits. Liam's into the pits. Crazy Bill, I believe, is setting a faster lap. Let's see. It'd be good if we could have like sector times. That would be good to be able to see, especially for like spectating. It's when we can see. I thought he would kiss in the barrier there, but he didn't. Set a purple middle sector. Crazy Bill is on a flyer. Let's see if he can do any better, knowing that he had that tank slapper in this corner and he backs out of it. That's interesting. Jonathan Cox on his outlap. So, Jonathan Cox on his outlap says to me that he is most probably looking at trying to get a fast lap in now rather than second half down, so he's definitely not second fast lap. Sean's gone 10th. Extremist has done a faster lap. It's very nice. Yeah, so Jonathan Cox going out now says to me that he's trying to avoid traffic, which is probably a smart play at the moment. And FT's also on his out lap going through the tunnel. I think he's got Jonathan Cox behind him. He does indeed. This could be very interesting indeed. Jonathan Cox is going to want to back off from behind, but not too much. If he goes anywhere near that Renault. Right, we're going to go stay on board with FT as he's trying to set a fast lap. He obviously broke track limits on the first time round. He's now onto his medium compound tyres. So you wouldn't listen to that graphic on the left hand side that says he's on his soft. He's not, he's on the mediums. So let's see as he goes through the first corner. Doesn't break track limits, keeps it nice and clean, gets on the power quite smoothly. Let's see, lifts off a little bit, a tiny little bit of brake, but not too much. Again, he's very smooth with his braking and his accelerating. He does a very hard braking into the, I think it's Fairmont hair footage. No, that's Mirabeau, isn't it? So FT now going through the middle sector, going into the this is actually a great time. Just see behind him that Jonathan Cox is gaining that little bit. Let's see how he does going through the second sector, and then we'll drop over to Jonathan Cox. So going through the middle sector, let's see what he does. It's a 52-second middle sector, whereas this is a 51.3, much faster from Jonathan Cox. So Crazy Bill gets out of the way. Let's hope that FT does not get in the way of Jonathan Cox now. Going round the final corner, he doesn't get a tank slapper on. He's managed to get a much better run through. So, could this be in the 1 minute 9s? I think we will be 1 minute 9.1, almost a second faster than Walker. That is impressive. FT sets a 1 minute 10.4. Which of course is a very good time on that medium compound tyre. He's probably going to be thinking, you know what, I'm going to stick it out here, knowing I'm on the better strategy. Fourth position is not a terrible place to be. He's just going to have to make sure he looks after his tyres now going into the pits. Otherwise he could be on a very difficult strategy indeed, because if you wear your tyres out on the way into your pits, they're the ones you got to start on, you know. That get to the end to your desired pit strategy, and if you make them so they're basically a soft compound tyre because of how warm they are, there's no point. So Zenix Joss now setting his fastest this time, though he backs off because Jonathan Cox is getting out of the way. So I think he's going to be setting his fastest on the next lap. See if he's not going any faster. I'm just keeping an eye out to see if we've got anyone who's going any faster. I think everyone. See, Crazy Bill, I missed that completely. That's even better. So that's a tenth of what we knew. So that's a second and a half better than his previous best time. But the reason why I say we knew is because we saw previously that Crazy Bill was setting purple sectors after Jonathan Cox sets his. And we knew that he, just like Jonathan Cox, got a tank slapper on in the end of the at the end of the last corner, completely lost his rear end and just couldn't keep it, which makes sense as to why then now he's been able to keep it. He's managed to get that lap in quite nicely, and so we see him go for a 1 minute 10.5. That's a very good lap from Seam indeed. Well, honestly, I think we're seeing a battle up top between these two, and of course I believe that both Walker and FT could possibly be there if they were on fresh, soft tyres. Let's see if Walker is setting a faster lap. Move on board with him. See, it absolutely terrifies me when you're in the car, or when you're driving the car, I should say, in that position. As close as you get to that barrier, you just think, I'm going to hit, I'm going to hit, I'm going to hit. It's only at the last moment you realise, okay, I've got control of the car here, I'm not going to hit it. So as you go through the second sector, he does tap the barrier on the left hand side, but he's 5 tenths up from his previous best time. That's good for now as he breaks track limits. I think he did that on purpose, knowing he was going to go into the pits because of the fact that he hit the barrier on the outside. That is a shame indeed. I Am Sloth has just gone faster. I completely missed that. These guys are setting monumental times. It's a 1:08.8 from I Am Sloth. That's 2/10 faster than Crazy Bill. This battle for the lead is, the battle for pole is becoming very spicy indeed. We've only got 3 minutes left, so who's out on their outlap? We have Liam out on his outlap. We have FT out on his outlap. We have Joshy Boy out on his outlap, and we have Callum Tyler as well. And of course, Crazy Bill being up there is great news for Red Bull, because they're needing to gain some points back on the mercs of Extremist and Callum Tyler, and realistically, having even if it's a reserve driver, having someone like Crazy Bill in there fighting for the top positions can only be a positive, really. As we see Jonathan Cox is starting his outlap as well. So let's see who goes out first on their fastest. Let's see what Mazzersmith is doing as Joshy Boy starts his. Oh, completely catches it there. Right, let's see who else we've got. Joshy Boy's broken track limits. Callum Tyler's out on his fastest at the moment. We know I Am Sloth and Crazy Bill are still out there, but I think they're coming into the pit soon. Let's see, is FT starting his? FT is on his fastest as well. He's a bit further down the road to Callum Tyler. So let's see, is he going any faster through this middle sector? We'll have to wait and see. As we see, that's Walker going completely over the S's section there. I did wonder who that was going to be. So FT, let's see how he does going through this middle sector. He's 7/10 up. That's a great time so far. It's still not quite enough to get him pole, but he just loses it there. I think that's probably going to be him saying, you know what? He's going to go again. You've still got 1:10 left. This could still be a fast lap. So, let's see. Going over the line. So 1:10.4 is slightly faster, but not enough really to make a difference. Walker is on his fastest lap. Jonathan Cox is on his. He's gone purple in the first sector. Let's say on board with Jonathan Cox on his bid for pole. He has to make up 3/10 in order to get into pole position. Can he do it? We'll have to wait and see. And this is the issue you have, is that now we have a crazy amount of traffic and Jonathan Cox does have to back off. Crazy Bill on his outlap. You then have Siam about to start his first flight, his fastest lap. This is where it gets a bit testy, because you have some people on definitely on their fastest laps and just can't do anything about getting out of the way. As we see Walker hit the wall there, as he almost hits the wall on the outside as well. Let's see if he's managed to set a fairly decent time. It's not any better from those two mistakes. We're now going to go to Liam and see how he's doing. He's probably going to be next to cross the line. Jonathan Cox backs out. He's not going to get any better, although he has actually managed to get across the line. I think Walker is in front of him there, hopefully not holding him up at all. So Liam now coming across into the middle end of the final sector. Let's see what he does going across the line now. It's a 1:10.3, great from him. Jonathan Cox now is trying his best to go even faster, I believe. Unsure. Where are the guys in front of him? Crazy Bill's in front of him. I Am Sloth will not be setting a faster time, so let's see what Crazy Bill can do. Going through this second sector now. He's a little bit slower, but he only has to really gain a little bit of time in order to improve on himself. But I think with this, he's a bit of a scrappy lap. Jonathan Cox has definitely backed out, so it's only Walker we're now watching, I think, past Crazy Bill. He doesn't go any faster. Walker does go faster into 4th position, which means no one apart from Tang is starting on those medium compound tyres. Very good news, I suppose, for the rest of the top 10, because it means that they can all be on the same strategy and not be out-strategized. But we are more than likely going to see a safety car in this race, which means all of the plans of their strategies probably won't be lasting very long. But there we go. We have our grid positions with I Am Sloth setting an amazing time of 108.8, which goes first. Crazy Will in second. Jonathan Cox in third. Walker fourth. FT in fifth. He wants to get ahead of Jonathan Cox in order to try and gain those 5 points. We then have Sean in sixth. Liam in seventh. Siam in eighth. Tang in ninth. Callum Tyler in 10th. Mazzaspin in 11th. Joshy Boy in 12th. Extremist in 13th. Zenix Josh in 14th. Cody in 15th. And VRL Smithy in 16th. What we're waiting on. Just seeing what's happening. We've got some people moaning about the fact that people putting each other off and getting in the way. As there we go, we are continuing into the next session. I was wondering if we're going to have a bit of a issue there, but we're not. So, as I said, that was your rundown. As I said, we've got Tang, who is starting on the medium compound tyres. Compared to the guys around him, that is good news for him, because obviously he can try and get a few positions in the pit stops. But I think we're going to have an interesting race with how close these top 5 are, all separated by less than a second. Crazy Build, we know, had a great chance of getting pole. I think Jonathan Cox was held up by Walker slightly, who really managed to pull it out of the bag and get that fast time into the 1 minute 9s, as well as FT. I think it's anyone's race. I honestly don't think we're going to have the snooze fest, I'd say, the train that we see in actual F1, because these guys aren't as consistent, to put it bluntly. They're not the type of drivers who are going to be making sure they're hitting the same marks in every single lap. Don't know what we're waiting for. So, a lot of people use 3 sets of soft compound tyres in that. See if there's any instance, corner cutting. Wow, that's a lot of invalidated lap times. So here we go. We're starting with a fair amount of runners. How many will we finish with? I suppose more than that. It's supposed to be. Why do I have a feeling that we're going to have a bit of an issue internet-wise here? Here we go. We are starting. That's good. So with 10 seconds left, hopefully they've all selected their setups. I don't know if we have part firmware in this. We should do. But here we go. Ready for the formation then. So let's have a bit of a normal rundown, as we always do at this point. To those of you who don't know, the reason why we do a formation lap is to make sure we're having warm enough tyres. The warmer your tyres are, the more grip you're going to have, because basically warm rubber bends. That's the way of putting it. It molds to the heat, it molds to the pressure, so it means that if you're able to put the pressure of a Formula 1 car on it, it's going to have more surface area to touch the bottom of the touch the surface of the track, and thus provide more grip, more traction off a line, more traction through a corner, better steering angle. You name it, it's got it, because of tyres temperature. Of course, if you have too much, it means that's where you get oversteering. You can't really get, and that's where it gets into this no man's land of almost. You've got too hot tyres, and that means that you're struggling to basically get out of, like, it's got too much friction. I'm not a scientist. I think we've got Walker just absolutely steaming it through everyone, thinking it's the start of the race here. But it's not. There's formation on that. So, let's get this ready. We want to see what tyres people are on. So, everyone outside of the top 10 starting on the medium compound tyres, apart from ZX Josh starting on the hard. Why he's doing that? I'm expecting a lot of penalties here. I'm expecting a lot of safety cars. Let's go down to FT and see what he can do from 5th place. Difference between Jonathan Cox and FT at the top of the table. He needs the best start. Come on, you ready? So, here we go. Ready for the race. 5 lights, and we are going and gone. So, Jonathan Cox gets a terrible start there. And there we go. FT has just got clattered into the back of him. And it's already started. Safety car. Jonathan Cox is out of the race. 5-second time penalties all around. Good start. Dear Lord, I didn't expect it to be that. I didn't expect it to be FT, of all people, crashing into the back of Jonathan Cox, sending him flying into the first corner, basically just into the corner itself, and just ruining Jonathan Cox's chances of getting a decent start to the race. That is a shame. I thought this could be, I hate to say it, this is Senna Prost level stuff. If FT gets more than 5 points here, he's in the championship lead for the first time this season because of the fact that he punted Jonathan Cox into a wall. So, as the safety car's out, FT's got damage on his front wing, he's going to have to pit. He's also got a 5-second time penalty as well for punting Jonathan Cox into a wall. Good start, very good start. Let's see, is any other big changes happened as we see in the pit? Let's see, we want to see movement, position change. So when everyone moving, not really. Not much happened apart from the fact that FT is now in the pits. Tyres, he's going on to hards and hopefully lasting for the rest of the race. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see, comment from... Yeah, that's Jonathan Cox commenting. I apologise, mate. It's really shit because that's just, it's unlucky. No two ways about it. First corner, and it's your championship rival and friend. Like, I know you two are good friends, who has caused you to be the first person and only person to crash out at this point. It's a shame. It really is. So, as we have I Am Sloth leading, Walker is in third, the Williams are having a great race so far. Crazy Bill into second position, Sean in third, Liam in fifth, Tang it up into sixth. That's great news for someone starting on the medium tyres. Yeah, Callum Tyler in seventh, Mazda Spin in eighth, Extremis in ninth, then ZX Josh in 10th, Joshy Boy in 11th as we see someone. Tang has ended up in a corner. Well, I'm just going to shut up. I was saying it was going to be a titanic battle between those two. I've just said that Tang was doing really well to be up there. I'm just not going to say anything now. How many safety cars are we going to see? I'm reckoning like 6. Right, prediction tyre strategy. Lap 10. That's if we don't have another 3 safety cars in between then. We're on lap 3 already. DRS is not activated because we're behind the safety car. Callum Tyler's up to 6th. This is going to be hectic. I think the winner of this race is going to be the person who stays out of the war zone the entire time. And I don't mean Call of Duty. So there's a fair few people on hard compound tyres. They're hoping to go long in this race. Basically do what the medium compound runners are doing. Go as long as possible, pit onto the softs then, and then basically gain the positions because of the fact that you've not been caught up in traffic. It's not a bad strategy. if we weren't expecting 16 safety cars. More I'm saying. I think FT's probably being very cautious doing that. Because of course you can stay out when the safety car comes in, of course you can. And it's not wrong to do so, it's just you've got to make sure you're not losing too much time to the guys on softs. So that when they do pit, if another safety car comes out, they're not able to then come out in front of you anyway. I'm going very deep into that corner. Smithy's on his way back. Are we going to see any more? Yeah, we're going to see any more 5-second time penalties. Massaspin's got one, Siam's got one. This is especially when it gets to when the safety car comes in. This is where these guys back each other out, back each other up so much that they end up, yeah, causing more penalties. We'll have to wait and see. It's been a great race so far. One DNF, everyone's made move position, already have pit stops, back four, and we're in the safety car. This is a very titanic battle here between Walker and Crazy Bill. He's only 2/10 off him. He's actually within 1/10 now. Can he overtake him? Oh, he's just breaking up. He's not going to be able to go overtake him, I don't think. He's kind of trying to overtake himself. No, I think this is going to be mind games. Walker is going to be trying to get Crazy Bill, get into his head and sort of tell him, I'm here, you know. I want you to know that I will pounce as soon as there's a sniff of my teammate starting to steam ahead. I will be there. As we see, Siam's now pitted. Off the hard compound tires. I don't think his mediums were going off. I just think he was trying to serve his penalty. Oh, Walker is really, really going to risk it here. He's most likely going to cause himself to get a penalty, or at least Sean to get a penalty. He's just not going to be. He's just got to be careful. Callum Tyler's obviously down in 6th position. I don't know what I'm predicting. I think if someone could manage to finish this race without us, we see safety cars coming in and start, right, we're going to go up to the front of short. Actually, we're going to Walker. He's the one who's really been pushing it. I Am Softies are really backing them up. They're going to try and heat their tyres as much as possible. Can we see some overtakes happening straight away? I Am Softies backing them up. Here we go into Rascast. This is usually... Oh, that's a collision there between Walker and Crazy Bill. So, Sloth goes. Crazy Bill has just got a bit of oversteer. This is going to give Walker the impetus to just overtake him, but he just can't into that corner. So, but we do see FT also going out. He's retired in the pits. Maybe that's him thinking, I don't want to gain the lead of the championship this way. Right, back up to the top. Walker is really pressing on Crazy Bill here. The Red Bull driver is having to do his utmost to stay in front. He's just always in his diffuser as Mazepin gets overtaken by Extremist. Smithy gets through on Tang. But I think Tang is, yeah, he's AFK, I think. And his Siam's also got through. So we're down to 14 as the two championship rivals have both DNF. That is Extremist looking up the inside of his teammate, thinking better off it, and just deciding, no, I will wait. Crazy Bill is still very close to everyone in front. We've got a yellow flag in. FT is still technically out. Why he didn't retire in the pit. So Sloth now in first place. He has got Crazy Bill gaining and gaining and gaining. Can he get over it? He can't. Mazepin is now in the pits. As you see, Extremist has gone past his teammate. That is now into 6th position from Extremist. That is very well done indeed. So, can he make this now work? He's on the medium compound tyres. We're already 5 laps into the race. We know the softs start going off around lap 10. Of course, the safety car will have affected things, but I don't think that much. You see, Walker is still really pressing Crazy Bill. Sean, who was on the podium last week, is still keeping hold of all 3 of them. And then we've got Liam, I think he's just behind them. And Extremist is a little while back. He's got some catching up to do after being caught behind his teammate for quite a while. Let's see if there's any battles going on behind. So I don't think there is. Has a spin coming out of the pits and going on to hard paddle tyres. No, it is this battle for the lead which we care about. We know we're going to have DRS, I think, at this lap. Sloth is really keeping these guys behind him, but I don't know for how long for. It's not got DRS, so Crazy Bill is just trying his best to use slipstream and his natural pace to try and overtake, but it's not going to be enough on this turn round. So Liam now is right behind Sean, but he's still not going to be able to get anywhere near him. Zenix, I should say, and Josh, your boy, are very close to McLaren in front of the McLaren of Cantaro, who just seems to not have the pace of his teammate today, but is still able to keep the guys behind him. Hopefully McLaren will have another great finish when it comes to points over their team, over their rivals of Red Bull. But at the moment, with Crazy Bill in second place, they're going to have to do some serious climbing from 6th and 7th to be able to do so. So, is Crazy Bill going to have a look up the inside? I don't think he thought the dive bomb would be a good idea. Walker has dropped back a fair bit from those two, even though they're battling. It's now down to 2 tenths. We do have DRS, I believe, this lap at least. I think that's how it works. Been 3 laps. So, yes, he does. So, I Am Sloth is going to be hoping he can get a bit more of a lead than 6 tenths, but I think it will be enough here. So, we're going to go down to Liam, see if he can get Sean. He can't. I think that's still too far. Extremist has now gone into the pits. That's odd. I think he's just thinking he's having to replace his front wing. He's obviously got damage. Callum Tyler is having to fight off Zenix Josh, but it's not going to be enough, as now Joshy Boy is also trying to get on the action. Can he overtake him now going into this tricky left-hander with only a little bit of brake? It's not a massive braking zone. He won't be able to do any sort of out-braking of anyone, but he might do down here. He's not managed it here. Right, Crazy Bill is within 3 tenths of I Am Sloth. This is a great run for him. Can he now capitalise? It just seems like I Am Sloth has the straight line speed over him, which is not good news for someone who needs the DRS power really on the home straight in order to overtake. We'll stay on board with these two for now. No, we'll go down to Joshua Boy and Callum Tyler. Is this going to be a bit of a dive? It's not. So for now, everything remains the same. I Am Sloth now going round Raskas, trying to really light up his tyres. He's got a lot of wheel spin coming out of Raskas there. He's a lot closer now, Crazy Bill is. So can the DRS work? We'll have to see. Going into turn 1, he's still too far away. He could only really gain about a tenth there on I Am Sloth, which is not good news. Callum Tyler now drops into the pits as well. So, Extremist on to a hard compound tyre. He's going to need to hope and hope and hope that he can get back into the points with this strategy that he's on. Now, the hard compound tyres can last, but I don't think they'll last that long. It'll be very difficult for him indeed. Got another comment. So Jonathan Cox has now reported that, yeah, so him and FT spoke after the collision, obviously after FT's now retired as well, saying it was just misjudging his braking zone, and they've cleared things up. There's no hard feelings between two of them. It's good that the friends managed to keep that going, so they're on to Silverstone next week, where the championship battle will arise. But before then, we're going to have to see whether Red Bull of Joshy Boy and Crazy Bill can make these strategies work, whether we can see Crazy Bill get ahead of I Am Sloth down this straight. It is a little bit closer, but Crazy Bill just loses it there. Actually, he does seem to lose a fair bit of time, so I think he did have a bit of a moment to see 3-second time penalty then for Siam. I think he just clotted the wall there as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Was that Siam? He seems to be going very slowly indeed. So he's also going to the pit. We've got a 5-second time penalty for Tang leading in the pit lane. He's now DNF'd. So, as we see him in the pits, he's having to replace his front wing. So it does seem like he clattered the wall going through the third sector. He's not brought out a safety car, but it is still a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's for Tang's. About Tang having to So Crazy Bill seems to still be carrying on between these two. You've got Zenix Josh, who's now up into 6th place. It will be outstanding if they manage to make these hard compound tyres last for the rest of the race. 39 laps is a long time. Well, sorry, 38 laps is a long time to do on hard compound tyres. To be honest, see him going on to mediums. Looks like he's committed himself to a 2-stop. Oh no, it's his lap. Well, lap 10 is when you should be actually pitting onto the medium, so that's not too bad actually. They can last 29 laps. I don't know if I'd want to be doing this. We see Walker's now into the pits. So the rest of the top 5 has not pitted. Walker now into the pits onto medium compound tyres. He's also replacing his front wing. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep the pace with the other two. As you see, Crazy Bill is still trying to basically wait, I think it is, for I Am Sloth to make a mistake. As soon as I Am Sloth makes a mistake, he will be there to pounce. Let's see. VRL Smithy is right in the back of Cody. Joshy Boy is still in the back of Zenix Josh. These two are going to be battling, I think, throughout most of the race. Zenix Josh gets a much deeper line through the Lowe's hairpin. Not going to be enough at the moment. Liam is very much on the back of Sean here, though, so can Liam make a move soon? This is the issue. The moment you get that close, if you can't make a move, as we see I Am Sloth getting a 3-second time penalty, he seems to have had a big issue then, because he's not only lost a place there, but also get a 3-second time penalty. He's having to pit now, hoping that he can pit onto a strategy and into a gap, which I don't know if actually is there. Because of course you've got Walker, who came up behind VRL Smithy, only a tenth behind him, I should say. As Crazy Bill also gets a 3-second time penalty. Good news for I Am Sloth. Let's see, can Walker come out in front of I Am Sloth? So I Am Sloth now currently on his way out of the pits. He's not. He's lost a lot of time being behind Smithy and Cody here. As we see, yeah, so his teammate has just managed to fall out in front into a nice gap. You have to say that is very well judged there from I Am Sloth. To be honest, Crazy Bill is going to have to either keep going and hope that he can basically come out in front of I Am Sloth in order to sort of fill in that gap once again, or he's going to have to wait and put on a set of medium compound tyres. That will mean he's got much fresher tyres, able to get him past both Walker and I Am Sloth, but it's always a risk because he was struggling to get past I Am Sloth, really. Let's see, does he pit here? He does get a very bad exit at that corner there. Just tries to get on the power too early. Let's see, does he pit? He doesn't. Interesting. So Sean, is Sean going to pit? He doesn't as well. Liam doesn't, knowing that Sean doesn't. It's probably a case of anything you can do, I can do faster. So let's see, Liam now with DRS is not going to get anywhere near Sean. It's still that DRS, so you only really gain a 10th really, which just isn't enough unless you're right on the heels of someone like Josh Boy is here on Zenix Josh. You see I Am Sloth in the pits one more time. He must have gotten damage. That is really not good for I Am Sloth, because that means his bid for the lead is really well and truly over. So as we see now, Joshy Boy, he's just trying and trying and trying to get past Zenix Josh, but can't get anywhere near him. So we're going to go back up to Crazy Bill now as he's going through the second sector. Are we going to see him pitting? As you see, Extremist has managed to find his way up to 8th position. Of course, Zenix Josh and Joshy Boy are both 12th and both 4th and 5th on 12 lap old tyres. Now, it just depends on how long they can make those tyres last. So, Crazy Bill once again doesn't pit. He's really extending his soft compound tyres as much as possible. TCG, Sean stays out, so does Liam. So let's see, Joshy Boy and Zenix Josh also do. To be honest, these guys are not too far off the guys in front, which is good news for them really, on that alternate strategy. Because they want to try and keep up to the soft compound runners, because they're the ones who are supposed to be flying away. See Walker set a fastest lap. Smithy is now in the pits, moving Extremist up into 7th position. He seems to have made a very good strategy call there, because we do probably assume that well, actually no, Sean and, let's see, Sean and Liam are just in front of him. We've got Walker catching up to him quite a lot, but now you can see Liam going round the outside, very brave indeed, through the tunnel section. He then just managed to get it ahead, as we see Liam get a 3-second time penalty, Sean not. So that's good for him if he can keep up to date, right up behind him. He does seem to be flying away. Liam does have the pace that Sean doesn't seem to have. But now, right behind Sean is the hard compound runner of Zenex Josh. As we see Sean dive into the pits, it's probably a good decision. He was just going to end up losing places if he wasn't careful. So, Zenex Josh into third position. Joshy Boy right behind him, still on it with DRS. Walker now into 5th place, so he's obviously pitted with the 4 ahead of him, having not. You just wonder whether Crazy Bill is just being a little bit too crazy. Let's see, is that Cody who's been in the wall? It does look like it is. It's not going to be a safety car, luckily, for the likes of Walker and I Am Sloth, because really they're the ones who come out worse in this position. Because you would think the guys in front would be able to pit and be on fresher tyres right behind him. So, where will Crazy Bill come out when he pits? That is the question I'm asking myself. So Cody is now got a 5-second time limit for speed in the pit lane. We are seeing penalties galore everywhere. So will Crazy Bill pit this lap? It's lap 15, 14 laps on those soft compound tyres is pretty impressive. He does pit indeed on this lap. Right, it will be now seeing whether he can get into the gap ahead of Liam and Zenex Josh, ahead of Joshy Boy, ahead of Walker. It's going to be a tough one. He's on his way out of the pit lane now. I don't think he is. I think Walker has managed, he has indeed managed to jump Crazy Bill on this lap, on this pit strategy. But he's got much fresher tyres, so can he then catch up and overtake as we see Cody DNFing? It's a virtual safety car. That's not what Crazy Bill wanted at this point. He wanted to make sure that he could catch up as fast as possible to the likes of Walker up ahead. Just not managed to do it. Ahead of him, I think that's Mazepin, isn't it? It is. So you've got a lapped car between him as well. So currently, in the net lead of this race is Walker with Crazy Bill behind and Sean right behind them. But we haven't seen Zenex Josh and Joshy Boy pit yet. It'll be interesting to see where they come out, given that Sean has come out in 5th position, should I say. So we are back into green flag running. Joshy Boy and Zenex Josh have not been able to get into the pits, but I don't think they would be anyway. How many pits have they done? They haven't pitted at all yet. So these are the tyres they started on, being in 13 places up. It's a brilliant race so far for Zenex Josh. We'll have to see where they end up after their pit stops with Walker and Crazy Bill right behind them. I think really what Crazy Bill's going to be hoping for is Walker to be held up by these two slower runners in front, meaning that Crazy catch up's behind him. He's obviously got 2.5 seconds to catch up at the moment. Catch up behind him and then overtake. Maybe even Walker might even make a mistake being caught behind these guys, getting frustrated at the lack of being able to show his pace. We'll have to wait and see. So I am still keeping an eye on I Am Sloth and Extremist as we see Walker does get past Joshy Boy going into the S's section. I don't know if he got on his front wing there. It did seem very close, but may have just been the lag on the system. So he's now catching right behind Zenex Josh. I don't know if he's going to be able to overtake him. He's looking on the outside of Raskas, thinks better of it. We've got a full course safety car because Mazepin has DNF'd. That is exactly perfect for Zenex Josh and Joshy Boy. So hard compound tyres it is for Joshy Boy, and a medium compound tyres for Zenex Josh. Let's see where they come out. So Sean's just gone through, so has Liam. 5th position it is for the next Josh. Joshy boy, he's going to come out into 6th. Is he? No, Extremist gets ahead of him, but on 10 lap old hard compound tyres. Iron Sloth pits once more onto hards. Wow. We knew we'd have more safety cars, so it's interesting because now this is really kind of played into Crazy Bill's hands. Walker was hoping to stay ahead, get as far as possible, and then sort of consolidate his lead. Crazy Bill trying to obviously catch him behind, but now with fresher tyres right behind him, Crazy Bill is going to be smelling blood, hoping he can get the lead of this race. Doing his best Lewis Hamilton impression, trying not to collide with the safety car, pushing it along certainly. So we're now down to 11 runners in this race. Sean has done brilliantly to be in 3rd position so far. Liam in 4th has done another great job. We then have ZX Josh, who obviously started on the hard compound tyres, down in the bottom 5, and then is now into 5th place. He's done brilliantly so far, as well as fending off Joshy boy. He's now got Extremist behind him, and we know passed him in the last time these two faced each other around the streets of this circuit earlier on in the race. Can he do that again? Can he get his hard compound tyres to the end of the race? It's certainly been interesting to find out. So let's see. We currently have the 2 leaders really in terms of getting the points up. As you see, Josh, I am not pitting again. He seems to be having a lot of issues in this race, which is a shame for someone who did such a blistering lap on pole position. But yeah, so Joshy boy, ZX Josh and Extremist have both gained 9 and then 7 positions each. I am Sloth obviously doing the worst, which is a real shame, losing 7 positions. You then have Smithy, who's gone up 7 as well from starting last. Let's have a look at penalties. 3 seconds for the 2 leaders. That's good news for them. You've got Sean, who I'm guessing is just going to be hoping he can stay in sort of like daylight, well, in those 3 seconds to the guys in front. Maybe even have a race win from this. That'd be great news for him. You then have Liam in 3rd, in 4th with 3, as well as ZX Josh. Extremist has done very well to stay out of trouble at this point. Joshy boy with 6, and then I am Sloth with 3. VRL Smithy with 3, Callum Tyler with 3, and then Siam with a whopping 12 seconds time penalty. Are we going to see the safety car in this lap? Walker is backing off enough, just in case it is. I don't think it is, and it's not. So, Walker's going to be feeling his tyres in the next 5-10 laps. Crazy Bill is going to be thinking, right, I'm on a much better strategy here. Let's see. I thought Walker was going to the pits then. I was going to get very confused for a moment. Crazy Bill's probably thinking, you know what, I can get him here. If I can activate my tyres enough, if I can make sure I'm in the right position, I can take him off the lead. We just need to make sure I'm up alongside him as soon as he starts accelerating. And this is where we saw the mind games last time. Walker was really pushing Crazy Bill. He was really trying to get inside of his head, well, inside of his diffuser as well, to be honest. And it was just interesting to see when the lights went green that Crazy Bill did seem a bit under threat from Walker behind. So will we see Crazy Bill doing the same thing back to Walker? Not sure. Doesn't look like the type of driver to do it. I think he's thinking, you know what, I don't want to get a 5-second time penalty here. I don't want to be going into the back of it. Extremist takes a very weird angle through that corner there. He's almost broken his front wing, but he doesn't just. So again, 5-second time penalty for VRL Smithy for colliding into I am Soft going through the Lowe's hairpin there. So I think we'll probably see that the safety car will come in at this lap. We've then got 19 laps left. Not expecting any more pit stops, unless Extremist decides that his tyres can't go the length. As Walker decides that his car, 29 laps is a long time on medium tyres. So safety car in this lap. Walker now starts to back people up. We're going to go on board, I think, with Liam. Let's see if these top four can keep each other going. You see, if I was Walker, I'd have gone now. Go right at the start. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He's caught Crazy Bill sleeping. Walker is just absolutely, as I said, just go as soon as early as possible. And it just means that everyone behind him goes, oh crap, he's going now? Wait, what? Yeah, he's just caught him napping there. That's a brilliant move from Walker. Knowing he had the worst tyres, knowing that Crazy Bill had an advantage, he just decided, you know what, I'm not going to risk it, let's just go for it. Joshy Boy, he's right on the back of his challenger, I'd say, for the third position at the moment. Obviously, Extremist is currently in third. Joshy Boy trying to get third position in drivers, as well as this fight between Red Bull and McLaren. This is going to get spicy. So the other McLaren of Callum Tyler is currently sitting in 10th place. He's right behind VRL Smithy, who we know is not a 5-second time penalty. So can he use his confidence over VRL Smithy to try and overtake him? It doesn't look like he's going to at this point. We're going to go back up to Crazy Bill, who has gained this time back on Walker within a lap, which is great news for him. He's got the pace, obviously, compared to Walker, but it's not as easy as just being fast around this track. Catching is one thing, passing is another, as the great Norrie Walker used to say. And as passing around Monaco, dear Lord, it is not easy. I think Nelson Piquet once referred to, as we see, Siam's gotten past Callum Tyler. Nelson Piquet once referred to driving around Monaco as like riding a bicycle around your living room, which, to be honest, sounds like a nightmare, but about as difficult, I'd say, actually, as we see people going around Monaco. Extremist is really holding back Joshy Boy. You feel here, those 14 lap old hard compound tyres lost him 3 seconds to Zenix Josh in front. Joshy Boy, we know, was fighting with Zenix Josh very closely previously, and now he's just being held up by the McLaren. Zenix Josh has managed to keep on board with the top 4, so he's doing really well so far. He's honestly on his way to being driver of the day so far for me. He's doing so well. Crazy Bill is right behind Walker. Can he manage to get DRS? No, DRS is not activated this lap, so he's just going to have to wait even longer. Zenix Josh has gotten past Liam, who seems to have made a mistake there, because there's now a 1.5 seconds down on Zenix Josh, and Zenix Josh is a 2.5 seconds down on Sean. So something seems to have happened there, but it does mean that Zenix Josh is up into 4th position. 3 second time over for Joshy Boy. So he's obviously getting frustrated behind the Extremist here, who's doing his team very well at this moment in time, trying to hold back the charging bull of Joshy Boy, trying to join his teammate back up into... I was going to say, was that someone in the wall there, or was it just me looking at things wrong? I think it was me looking at things wrong. Yeah, Joshy Boy is just like, I want to go join my teammate. I know I have the same pace as these guys, and yet I can't get back up to him. Zenix Josh is now caught up behind Sean. And this just shows the train that is forming behind Walker. I don't think Crazy Bill can just get the pace he needs because he hasn't got that straight line speed. As I was saying earlier on in the broadcast, if you don't have the straight line speed, we see Callum Tyler having an issue there as he got into a wall. It's not going to be a safety car. He's managed to keep it going. We're going to go back on board with Walker and Crazy Bill. It's still not enough for Walker to get past him. We now have Liam though, who's right behind Zenix Josh. Zenix Josh seems to have a bit of an issue. He's not got the speed. He's going to turn in, but these guys are giving each other space. I just knocked him into him, but it's not going to be damaged, which is great news for us, the listeners, watchers. That's a very deep dive there from Liam as Zenix Josh lets him go past, thinking, you know what, don't want my front wing taking off. But Liam does go very deep then into the next corner. This battle is now meaning that they're losing more and more time to the guys in front. Callum Tyler's now gotten past VRL Smith is in the pit as well. So those two seem to collide, which is what caused their incident. I Am Sloth is right behind Joshy Boy, who is still stuck now 6 seconds behind Zenix Josh, being stuck behind Extremist. Extremist is doing very well. It's almost Danny Ricciardo reminiscent from 2018 when he had such a massive issue not being able to have, he had half the amount of power, didn't he, and yet managing to fight off Lewis Hamilton for the entire race, just because around Monaco it is very difficult to pass, but that does not mean it's impossible for these guys. So Crazy Bill is right on the tail of Walker once again, but still not enough even with DRS. Zenix Josh is losing touch a little bit, and the guys in front, that gap's now forming a little bit more. Extremist just doing enough to keep Joshy Boy behind him, who's doing extremely well at this point. But 17 laps already on those hard compound tyres, you have to say that it feels like he's just going to end up losing too much time. VRL Smithy, I think, has stopped. I think he's spun his car, but he's managed to keep it going, which is good news. It means we won't get another safety car just yet. 3-second time penalty, so finally Extremist joins everyone else for having a time penalty, so that means he's not really capitalising on any lack of time penalty, I suppose. Zenix Josh gets another 3-second time penalty, 8 seconds up the road, but he's managed to catch up back to the back of Liam and Sean, as well as Crazy Bill being so close once more to Walker. He seems to have a little bit of a better run here. Can he keep it going? So he's now only 2/10. Walker is going to defend this quite a lot. He goes around the outside. Can he make it work? He's not going to. Oh, he's just forced each other into it. As we see Sean now going through into first, and Liam's just collided into Crazy Bill there. Liam's got a 5-second time penalty for colliding into Crazy Bill. We've got another safety car now coming out, which allows Sean, no penalties, Sean, up into the lead of the race. So let's just quickly dissect what happened there. So Crazy Bill up on the outside of Walker. Walker is obviously on the inside. Now the way that corner works is, of course, you go from the inside to the outside. Walker, I hate to say, didn't leave Crazy Bill a car's width. It's difficult around Monaco, it is, but you still have to make sure you leave a car's width. Walker didn't, which is why Crazy Bill had, he couldn't do anything. He was there, he couldn't, if he suddenly broke, yes, of course he'd avoid it, but he also risked suddenly braking and taking Walker's rear wheel with him and doing the same thing. I don't know if Crazy Bill's got any damage here, because of course they're going around the safety car, so we might see that he does, but Walker is definitely going to have damage and will need to go into the pits. Siam has now pitted, is now DNF as well. So we now have 10 runners in this race. So Sean, ZX Josh is the only person not to go into the pits. Interesting. Walker has pitted. Liam has DNF'd. That is interesting. Extremist also doesn't pit. That was your chance, Extremist. You had 19 lap hard tyres on that, so you're going to struggle to go to the end of the race. I'm Sloth doesn't pit as well. You're going to have Sean on new softs, Crazy Bill on new softs, Walker on new softs, Joshy Boy, who's in 8th position, having pitted onto the mediums. He's into 7th now on new mediums. Callum Tyler's now up to 8th, and Smithy somehow, after starting last, is now up into 9th position. Done very well indeed. But Walker being down to 6th, he's got a lot of overtaking to do to get back into the lead of this race. Sean, you would think, has got enough pace in him on those soft compound tyres to overtake the hard runners in front. But this is Monaco. Could we see I Am Sloth somehow managing to pull it out of the bag and get his hard compound tyres into the race lead? Could we see Extremist managing to do it? Hell, could we see ZX Josh starting way down in what I think it was 13th or 14th, getting into the top, onto the podium with his medium compound tyres? He's certainly in a much better position than the guys behind him. We know the Extremist lost a lot of time to ZX Josh in the last safety, in the middle of the last safety car period. So we could be seeing a similar thing happen. If ZX Josh gets a 6-second advantage on Extremist, will the soft compound runners catch up to him in time to then also have an advantage, or will those soft tyres die off before then? We know that soft tyres start dying off after about 8 laps. there's 11 left. I think we're in for a very odd winner of this Grand Prix. I think one of the likes of Zenex Josh, Extremist Sloth or Sean could win this race. But who knows? It's going to be crazy. I think I Am Sloth has done very well to have such a dismal middle part of this race, to be in third position right now. You would expect him to be swallowed up by the soft compound runners behind him, as well as maybe even Joshy Boy on the mediums, but like I said, it's not. This is Monaco. Joshy Boy couldn't get past Extremists on very old hard compound tyres, so we don't know if he can get past him. You think the softs are going to be that much faster than the 14 lap old hard tyres, but who knows? Who knows? This is mental. This is the first time I've ever commentated over Monaco, and Monaco is one of those races where you expect something like this happening. And because it's so difficult to overtake, you see, oh, lads, don't get yourself a penalty. Safety cars in this lap, 3 seconds time penalty for multiple warnings for Smithy, but he's going to catch up in time. So, the next Josh, is he going to do the same thing here as we saw Walker do and just go really early? I don't know. Yeah, so Drofter's just messaged saying that softs will be massively faster. They should be, and you'd think with Sean having that pace anyway, he should be able to keep it going. So Zenith Josh is just gone. He's going, you know what, I know I need to be able to get out of this. Josh Boy pits. Let's see, so Sean and I Am Sloth, this is the battle we're wanting to see. Crazy Bill loses it again, he lost the position again to Walker. So Walker's managed to get over in front of Crazy Bill, as well as building a bit of a gap. Extremist is holding up everyone else behind them. This is great news for Zenex Josh. So, Sean, can he get past them? Looking around the edge, looking around the outside of the Lowe's hairpin, thinks better of it. Sloth is just holding them back, but this is where the traction really paid into it. So, can we see it here? Is he going to use overtake? I don't think he is. He's had to back off that little bit. He's already... Oh, I think he just thinks, you know what, I'd rather make sure I make this pass properly in the next 10 laps than break my front wing and not be able to make it at all. Walker is, of course, right behind them. But this is getting testy. Sloth is obviously also frustrated behind Extremist. Crazy Bill's now getting ahead of Walker into Rascash. So now going through the main straight, it's still not going to be enough for Sean to get past I Am Sloth. This is going to be, it's a battle of patience. It really, really is. Zenix Josh is just looking this though. He's already 3 seconds ahead of Extremist. Extremist is just holding them all up. These two are in contention for driver of the day just for how amazingly they're managing to block people from overtaking. It's not bad moves. You see Walker and Crazy Bill are still fighting it out for this back of this pack. I don't want to stay on board with these two because they look like they're getting feisty with each other, to be honest. But I am going to have to go on board with Sean now, who's using his overtake. He's going to surely try and dive up the inside of Amsloth going into this braking zone. He doesn't. Oh, it's just getting frustrating for him as New Walker get another 3-second time penalty. Right, I just want to say I'm on board with Walker. I can see that you're trying to, as we see he's DNF and cause another safety car to come out. It just ruins everyone else's race. We were having a great race and there's no need for it. Right, no one pits, luckily. Means we're still going to have this battle going on for the last, what I'd say would be probably about 4 or 5 laps. I don't know what to say. Walker is an incredibly fast driver and he's very good, but he does seem to cause issues like this a fair bit. We see Crazy Bill gets a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Sean. See Smithy gets another 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Yeah, I mean, annoyingly we're on board with Walker there, And he got the 3-second time penalty. And then it seemed like, obviously we don't know what was actually happening with his wheel or anything like that, but it seemed like he then tried to accelerate into the wall. Didn't exactly work, tried to accelerate into the other one, broke his front wing, and then obviously you could see the corner coming up, and I think we all knew what was coming, and he just went straight into it. Yeah. It's difficult because it does kind of null and void this next class. I think we're going to have, you know, robs us of a bit of a fight that we were going to see, but we will still, luckily, be able to see it for the rest of this race so far. You know, for the rest of the race that's going to be left. I do think that we'll have probably one lap, so we'll go on to the next lap under the safety car. Crazy build now, pits. That's interesting. Another new set of soft compound tyres. No, he's gone on to mediums. Serving his 5-second time penalty, that was wide, right. ZX Josh is going to be again trying to find this gap as quickly as possible. We probably will see I Am Sloth onto the podium here. He's done very well to recover from that. You have to give it to ZX Josh, managing to make this strategy work. If Extremist managed to make his strategy work and finish on the podium, blooming heck. Pitting onto the hard compound tyres that early. I think it was lap 5, weren't it? I think it was. No, lap 7. Lap 6 or lap 7. Going on to the hards and making them last all the way till the end. Blocking everyone, making sure that he had all his car in the right places. Not making a mistake, because this is the thing. You can, you know, you can be in the middle of the road, but you will get past if you make a mistake. Especially by guys who are so much faster than you behind. And so, in order to not to still be in this position, Extremist has to have not made a mistake, which is very good, very, very good, especially around Monaco. You know, we've seen all the other drivers really struggle at points and make mistakes and go into walls and have knocks and stuff and break a little bit of front wing off, and you see now the safety cars in this lap. It just seems like Extremist hasn't done that, but nor has ZX Josh, and nor has I Am Sloth, and I think it's... Well, I Am Sloth made a lot of mistakes, but has now managed to recover, and he's done very well to do so, but it's one of these first twos we see these guys really playing with each other. We're getting on board though, I think, with I Am Sloth, who almost collides with Extremist there. Zenix now goes for it, so Josh is off. Extremist is off. Josh has completely lost it there. Oh, we're going to see a dive in the upside. He's not, but he is even losing his back of the wheels. Sloth is just under attack from Sean as well. Sean still has not been able to get past the hard compound runners of I Am Sloth and Extremist. Those soft tyres will be dying off in the next lap. He needs to make this move now. He's going to go up the inside of Mirabeau, but he decides better of it. Okay, so onto the Lowe's hairpin. Oh, it's just frustrating. Joshy boy gets past VRL Smithy. So the Red Bulls are still doing well. It's a shame because Crazy Bull was doing so well, and it now looks like it's advantage McLaren. Extremist has got Sloth right behind him, Sean right behind him, and then Callum Tyler just on the back of the both of them. So Sloth's now got another 3-second time penalty. Oh, this is getting close. It's lap 33 and 39. I don't know what we're going to see. So, it's not going to be close enough for sure. Even with that soft compound tyre, it's just not enough at this moment in time. Joshy boy is really on the back of Callum Tyler, who seems to have lost it a little bit there. Can he make it work through Mirabeau? Is he going to go up the inside? Crazy Build now overtaken VRL Smithy as well. He's not made it work. So, we're now back up to Sean and I Am Sloth. Every single time they go through that low hairpin, it just looks like I Am Sloth is going to be mounting Sean's front wing, put it that way. So Sean's losing his overtake, so is I Am Sloth. I Am Sloth has got a lot of overtake left in that car. He's done very well to save that up. Extremist has got 68% as well. So these guys are obviously using it to defend on that pit straight, knowing that's where Sean will have DRS, knowing that's where Sloth will have DRS. These guys are really, really holding off against each other. Meanwhile, ZX Josh is just flying on those 17 lap old medium compound tyres. We're on lap 35, DRS is now enabled after the safety car, so this is when it gets fighting, it gets a bit fighty again. We've got 8 runners still left in this race. Joshy Boy is right on the back of Callum Tyler. He's got Crazy Bill, his teammate, right behind him. If I was Joshy Boy thinking of the team, I'd go, you know what, Crazy Bill, you've got more of a chance now to overtake Callum Tyler. I'll let you through first. But he's just looking up the inside. These guys are so close to each other. Sean is still within 3/10 of I Am Sloth going through the Lowe's hairpin. He's just getting frustrated. These soft compound tyres cannot be feeling good at this point. They still feel better than those 21 lap old hard compound tyres, but it's just not been enough. The play looked like it was going to work. It looked like Sean was going to get back on the podium, being able to overtake these hard runners, but it's just not happened because it's Monaco. But that does not make it not exciting, because these guys are so close to one another. As we see here, Extremist is really getting almost rear-ended by Sloth. Let's see, through Raskas, he looks around the outside, decides against it, but that gives Sean probably a much better run through the last corner. It doesn't. He's still only 4/10 back. And it's just not going to be enough for these guys. I think it will come down to penalties, which we'll have a look at in a second. Crazy will get another 3 seconds. This. So I Am Sloth has 11 seconds of time penalties. That is not going to do him any good. He won't even fall just back 1 position, but he'll fall constantly, probably even as far as maybe even 7th. If these guys finish this close to each other, I think it will do. The best person, I think, at the moment is Extremist, but he's now outside that 6 seconds he needs to be inside of in order to win the race. But he's doing well, certainly. ZX Josh has all but won this race at this point, but we know one single mistake could mess up a person's race. ZX Josh could just catch a corner and just absolutely ruin his front wing, or he could spin coming out of the final corner. We know, because it's happened before, this is getting very tense indeed. The Crazy Bill has gotten past Joshy Boy. A very close one there from I Am Sloth, really cutting the corner as close as possible. Sean then, it's just not going to be enough. These soft compound tyres, you can see Sloth's actually getting further away from him now. Oh, it's excruciating watching these guys being so close. So now Crazy Bill has gotten past his teammate. He's now trying to get past the McLaren of Callum Tyler. But again, we're seeing a much better strategy, a much better tyre, not being able to get past the wearing tyres in front. ZX Josh is now 8 seconds in front. He's doing incredibly. I Am Sloth is still 6/10 behind, so is Sean. Extremist has managed to get these hard compound tyres 29 laps into the race. Take a bow, son. That is incredible. I think it's a toss-up. I don't know who I'd want to give my driver of the day to, because ZX Josh has been so good, so consistent through this entire race. He's managed to get himself up there, use the right strategy. Let's see, he's only stopped once, just the same as Extremely, so he managed to get it working. He started on the hard compound tyres, which seemed like the wrong decision. Then the safety car came out and he pitted onto the soft, onto the mediums, which has just been the best tyre to be on at this point. Because look, he could have easily gone onto the soft compound tyres, thinking, you know what, I'm going to try and make the most out of it, or blink at one of the other safety cars. But because of the fact he's on that, he's on that medium compound tyres, and Extremist is on the 30 lap old. That's crazy. Cards behind him, he knows he can get the gap out. For me, those calls in Monaco where you're really struggling, I think, for time to think about things. For me, although he's got 9 seconds of time penalties, because of the fact that he's made those strategy calls, he's made it work, and he's got this gap once again on Extremist. That is why, for me, ZX Josh should get my driver of the day. I think he'll probably get the driver of the day of the actual one as well, but for me, his strategy calls today have been brilliant. He's done so well. For me, that's why he's driver of the day. So, we're going to go back, though, towards Extremist and Sloth. Extremist does get a close second, and honestly, I would want to give it to Extremist. If ZX Josh wasn't there, or if it was someone else there, and it was, he'd made his strategy, made loads of trips during the safety cars, and that's why he was there, I would probably give it to Extremist, but both of them have done a very equal job, really. Obviously, Extremist has managed to get these hard compound tyres lasting so long, but ZX to be able to win while doing that is incredible. Sean, the promise was there. We're on the last lap now. He's not going to be able to overtake Sloth, I don't think, unless Sloth makes a mistake. Obviously, he will get third because of his because of the penalties that Sloth has. But to be honest, a race of attrition is certainly what this race was. To be able to go from 16 runners down to 8, we had half the runners go out. We had so many numerous safety cars. Josh will get a 3-second time penalty. Numerous safety cars to keep ahead on this, to be able to get where they are with ZX Josh and Extremist. And we see Sloth really losing his front wing there. Obviously, we know that Sean will get the place anyway. Sloth gets third place on the track, but he does lose it. He loses quite a fair few actually to the guys behind. Callum Tyler comes in at 5th, Josh Boyd 7th, then right behind I Am Sloth, and then VRL Smithy finishes them off. What a race! What a crazy, crazy race. Yep, ZX Josh gets the driver of the day as well. He gets my driver of the day. I would have given it to Extremist, but ZX Josh does a similar job, and awfully well. That gap at the end is crazy. It could have very easily been difficult for him after both safety car restarts, but he kept it clean, kept his head, all points, kept his strategy, knowing what he was going to try to do, and that's why for me he's driver of the day as well. Amazing job from Extremist. After looking like it was going to be such a bleak day for McLaren, he's managed to get the points back, and that was a pretty impressive finish for him. Sean does really well to finish again for a second week in a row in 3rd position, obviously for different teams, but well done. Here's your final classified finish. You've got ZX Josh in 1st place, Extremist in 2nd, Sean in 3rd, Crazy Bill in 4th, then you have Callum Tyler, another great race for McLaren, in 5th, Iron Sloth in 6th. Such a promise, such a difficult day for him at the office, so disappointed for him. Joshua Boy in 7th, and you have Smithy, who's our last classified runner, in 8th. Then the DNFers of Walker, Liam, Siam, Mazespin, Cody, Tango, FT, and Jonathan Cox. It feels so long ago that happened, but what a crazy race. Thank you everyone for joining. Please make sure to comment below who you think might win the next race. We're going to go on to Silverstone next week and Monday Night Racing, so make sure you're here at 8 o'clock for that. I've been Nat Craig, you've been you. Thank you very much.